Hey everyone, the Game Piece here, and welcome to the first video in a new series called Temtem Up. This is going to be showcasing various battles that I've had in Temtem, going over the thought process that I had during the battle, and just overall narrating it and giving you my thoughts on the battle and how it went. So we're going to get started here with a battle against Indiebear. Right away, he goes ahead and bans my Gialis, and I go ahead and ban his Gialis as well. I really don't like dealing with Gialis as a whole, as a late game sweeper. What I assumed that my opponent wanted to do was bring in Gialis and maybe Pig Epic or Kinu lead. I know that that's a pretty popular start off with any sort of competitive play, so I wanted to kind of shut that down. Now looking at his first pick, he goes ahead and chooses Kinu, so I go ahead and pick the Valash to counter it. Also noticing that a lot of stuff on his team takes more effective damage from special attacks rather than physical moves. So he goes ahead and picks the Anahir to, I assume, counter my Valash pick, but I do have the Wiplump in there as well to be able to counter any fire types, and also going to be picking up the ban on Volcranes, so it works out for me banning Gialis in the first phase there. Now, due to what Anahir wants to do, its moveset, it really can't touch me at the first turn here, so I'm feeling pretty good. Go ahead and pick Voloran to try to deal with its Calibus as well as Saipat. It's really probably the best option for me here overall. Rise can't really do a whole lot in this situation here, especially up against stuff like Volcrane and Calibus. It's just going to get completely walled off, and even Saipat as well is just going to wall it off. So my opponent's going to go ahead and pick Saipat and Pig Epic for its third and fourth slot, and then I'm going to go ahead and answer with my Kinu, and I believe I go ahead and pick Pig Epic here. I didn't think Rise was really going to be able to do much in this situation, especially looking at what he had left. The Volcrane and the Calibus definitely scare Rise away, so let's get into the match, everyone. So this is the first match that I've done on the channel here. Definitely keep an eye out and look forward to more. But here we go. So they're going to be sending out Anahir Kinu and get the Protector buff off, and immediately swap the Kinu out and send in their Biggie, which is their Pig Epic, hoping to, I would assume, get some Bamboozles off onto their Anahir so it doesn't take any damage. But I go ahead and go Crystal Spikes into the Pig Epic slot as well as Cold Breeze into it, thinking that either it would swap or being able to get any sort of super effective damage on that Kinu is going to be a pretty big play. But of course, Anahir goes for the turn 1 heat up, which I had expected. Not really a whole lot Anahir can do on turn 1, but I go ahead and swap out Valash because I'm scared of the Anahir into the Volorend. The Pig Epic goes for Turbo Choreography to boost their speed, but I swap in the Volorend to take advantage of the synergy effect of Tsunami here. So I'll be able to get the freeze up on the Pig Epic for another turn, as well as start the freeze stacks building on the Anahir here. And you'll see me eat this damage up, even from a boosted heat up Meteor Swarm from Anahir. I'm able to just completely eat that damage. So he goes ahead and swaps out his Frozen Pig into Kinu here to get another Protector buff, as well as swaps out his Anahir to bring in a better counter to my Wiplump and Volorend, which is Saipat. Now, unfortunately for him, I did choose to double into the Saipat slot with Tornado here, as well as my, I think it's a Toxic Plume, yep, from Saipat here. So we're going to get some toxic damage off on both of these sides of the field. You're going to see Toxic Plume really do some work later on in the battle. Having these AoE spread moves right now is really effective for the Bamboozle strategy that's going around. So I fire off a Tsunami with Wiplump to try to get some more freeze stacks up on the Kinu, as well as get some damage off on the Saipat and knock it out. Really having Wiplump on the field I've found to be really effective at trapping the opponent as well as applying various amounts of pressure to them. With the freeze stacks, they don't want to just sit there and do nothing for a couple turns, so they really just have to switch out or just sit there and take damage. So half the time, or majority of the time I should say, that they will end up switching out. So he goes ahead and brings in his Anahir after the Saipat gets down. Go ahead and Cold Breeze the Kinu so it gets frozen and can't revitalize or do anything like that to the Anahir. And then I go ahead and just go and try to get a little bit more damage off onto the Anahir with Feather Gatling. Goes ahead and boosts its attack again, and then switches out the Kinu on the next turn here. Brings back in the Pig Epic, I'm assuming, like I said before, to try and bamboozle the Anahir so it doesn't take any damage. Really, my opponent right now, it looks like, has to rely on Anahir for the win condition. Doesn't really have a whole lot else that it can do. Here you're going to see him try to survive and keep his Ani here alive, but brings in the Volcrane to just ultimately get destroyed by a Sharp Rain from our Wiplump. And Volcrane's going to go down. Of course, the time 4 super effective special damage, going to completely tear through that Volcrane. And then that will allow him to bring in another Temtem, and I believe that he goes ahead and brings in, yes, his Ani here again. Going to try to set up some bamboozles on it with his pig, it looks like, and pull off some Meteor Swarm shenanigans. So, not wanting to lose my Wiplump, knowing I need that to win, because of the overexertion last turn with the Sharp Rain, I go ahead and decide to swap that out, and I go ahead and go for the Relax on the Pig Epic here. Now, thanks to the Bamboozle up on his Ana here, he didn't get put to sleep, so that's bad for me, but he goes ahead and swaps out his Sleeping Pig into the Kinu for another defense buff, and goes for the Meteor Swarm on my Pig and my Volarend, which is going to do pretty significant damage, especially considering now that he has multiple heat-ups under his belt. But he did go for the overexertion there, so I don't have to worry about him doing anything this turn. So I go ahead and fire off a Tornado into the Pig, or into the Kinu, sorry. And he goes ahead and goes for Revitalize to try to restore a bit of his Anahir's health. But Venomous Claws is going to be able to come in and pick up the knockout on the Kinu there. I'm kind of surprised that my opponent didn't go for Sacrifice, but I believe that maybe the Revitalize was really his only option there. After the knockout, brings in the Pig to bamboozle his Anahir, so I can't really touch it. This is where you're going to see the Toxic Plume really come into play. Those spread AoE moves are really effective for getting rid of any sort of bamboozles on the field. And then you're going to see me try to put it to sleep, but unfortunately the Anahir does have the energy drink on it. I am assuming that his strategy is to try to go for Heat Up and then bring his Pig to relax and then allow his energy drink Anahir to sweep with Heat Up Meteor Swarms. So he's going to pick up the double knockout here. I'm not really too concerned about that. In the back of my team, I do have counters for both of these things. I bring in the Wiplump and the Valash here, you'll see. Go right away for the Crystal Dust to try to get rid of the Bamboozle. And Tornado's going to come out right into my Wiplump. It's not going to pick up the KO, going to do a little bit of damage. Pigapek's not the best special attacker in the game, but Tornado does do some surprising damage at times. I choose to go for a Tornado into Ani here to try to chip away at it. Not going to do nearly enough. Goes ahead and takes the head charge right to the face, Wiplump does. It's knocked out, however the Ani here is overexerted, so I don't have to worry about it this turn. What really did my opponent in here at the end, I think, was the stamina cost for all of the moves that he had to do. But I go ahead and go Crystal Spikes into the Pig, so we can't do any more Bamboozle shenanigans. Fainted Curse is going to take a chunk of damage out of Valash. Not going to matter, but I go right away for the Beta Burst. And look at this, lives with, I think, 1%. Yeah, 1% HP. So then I go ahead and go for the Crystal Spikes for the win. So, good game to my opponent, Indiebear. Very close match, man. Unfortunately, the stamina costs for your on here were just too strong. But definitely a very close game, very good game. And I look forward to challenging you again. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this series. If you want me to continue doing it, any thoughts or improvements that you have for me, feel free to let me know. But if you liked the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Temtem content like this and more in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.